Hello YouTube and Patreon, welcome to the U-Man channel. My name is Oliver, and today I got a couple members of my group. I'm going to take a look at night vision and see how that may be helpful in an SHTF scenario. As part of putting together a well-rounded plan, I thought it was time to start looking at night vision to add to the mix of preps. I started doing a lot of research and talking to a lot of friends to try to figure out what would be best for me in my situation. One of the friends that I talked to was John over at the Prepared Mind channel, and he gave me a lot of good advice and pointed me in several directions, and he thought it might be a good idea to do a video review of whatever system I decided to go with. A lot of videos out there that give you all the details you want about all the different systems available, all the specifications and whatnot, but the point of this video is going to be how can night vision benefit you in your particular situation, and what are the pros and cons of some of the different types of night vision out there. The type of systems I decided to look at were IR, which is infrared, and FLIR, FLIR, or forward-looking infrared. These units are available in a number of different configurations, such as monoculars, binoculars, rifle scopes, and price ranges are anywhere from a couple $100s to as much as you want to spend. I set my budget at under $1,000, which took most decent rifle-mounted scopes off the table. From there, I decided that a monocular would be the most versatile, easy to use, and there were such a wide variety of these things in a wide price range with a tremendous number of options as far as features go that I thought that would be the best route. After doing a lot of research, I narrowed the choices down to the Bushnell Equinox Z2 series for standard IR and the Leupold LTO tracker for FLIR or thermal night vision. The Equinox is an affordable, durable line of monoculars with lots of features. They're available in 3 sizes, 3 by 30 millimeter, 4.5 by 40 millimeter, and 6 by 50 millimeter, and the prices range from about $250 to $400. The Leupold LTO tracker is available in 2 models. They have the standard definition model, which runs about $550 to $600, and the new high definition model, which sells for around $1,000. Since IR and FLIR each had so many pros and cons, I decided to go with a middle-of-the-road solution. I ended up buying the 4.5 by 40 millimeter Bushnell Equinox Z2 and the standard definition Leupold LTO tracker. John and Jolene were nice enough to add these things to the preparemind.club website, and I was able to get both of these things and stay under my $1,000 budget. The first thing you'll notice about these 2 units is that the Leupold is much smaller than the Bushnell. That's because FLIR uses a thermal sensor to detect infrared radiation that an object emits as opposed to infrared light. In order to get sufficient amount of infrared light to see in the dark, the Bushnell requires a light source or an infrared flashlight to produce enough light for the CMOS sensor to detect. It's important to note that neither of these units are optic units, like a standard monocular or rifle scope. Both use sensors to produce an image on an LCD video screen. While there are some inherent disadvantages to this in the event of an EMP situation, there are also many advantages which we'll discuss as we go along. One of my favorite features of the Leupold is its compact size. It can easily fit in your pocket, and it can run up to 10 hours of continuous use on a single CR123 battery. It has a very simple 3-button operation, and it's got a fixed focus 4x magnification on the viewer with a 6x digital zoom. It gives you a total of 24x zoom, and it requires no focus adjustment when you're going from close objects to far objects. It's rated as having an effective range of about 600 feet, and it's also rated as waterproof, which is good for all weather conditions, or if it should become submerged. Say you slip into a creek or a pond or something, it's not going to damage this thing. As I said earlier, the Bushnell is a considerably larger unit, but it has a lot of features beyond just being a monocular. Optics are 4.5x magnification on the viewer with a 3x digital zoom. Gives you a total of about 13.5x total zoom. This unit will, however, require some focus adjustment depending on the distance you're viewing at. If I go from a near object to further away objects, I do have to adjust the lens a little bit here. It's rated as having an effective range of up to 750 feet on IR at night with 4 different levels of illumination. You have daytime, you have ambient light, and then low and high settings on the IR. This water resistant unit, it'll stand up to being out in a bit of rain or snow or something, but it's not going to stand up to submersion like the Leupold. Unlike a lot of the IR units, the Z2 has both daytime and nighttime modes. Daytime mode gives you full color, as we're seeing here. I'm filming this portion of the video on the Bushnell right now. So it will give you full color in daytime and allow you to view in black and white or black and green in IR. The black and white seems to be a little more natural than the black and green, so it makes the nighttime viewing a little easier. Built-in camera allows you to capture pictures or full audio and 1080p HD video. It has remote viewing, snapshot, and recording capabilities with an app you can download to your smartphone or iPad. The videos and snapshots can be transferred from the phone via Bluetooth or by moving the memory card from the camera to your computer. Runs on 4 AA batteries, which are more common than the CR123s in the Leupold. It'll be a lot easier to find, but I have noticed that thing seems to be a little bit of a battery hog, especially when you got it on IR illumination in the high mode. Batteries don't seem to last too long. I think some AA lithium camera batteries might do better, and I'm going to have to get some of those and test that down the line and see if those hold up a little bit better. One side to both of these units, however, is that you got to keep in mind that they are not optic units because they're running off of the batteries and onto a screen. If the batteries are dead, these things are going to be completely useless. They're also not shock rated, so it's not recommended that you mount them onto a rifle. I've seen people do it and they said they've had no problem, but it's something I'd be cautious about. Play with the zoom a little bit here. You can see we're all the way up to the 3x zoom. Not a bad little unit.
Okay, now for the fun part. We're going to start doing some demonstrations, and first off we got Chris here. He's going to give us a hand with doing some of these demos.
How's it going, guys?
Another good example of the difference between the FLIR and the IR is if you're in a dark environment where somebody may be hiding behind something. I mean, right now we've got Chris standing behind this forklift, and you can see a shape with the IR. But then when we go to the FLIR, you can see a hot spot which shows the outline of a body. Now when Chris steps out, you see the outline of the body, and then you could see him very well on the IR. But until he steps out, you really don't know what that is. Could be just something leaning up against the forklift or whatever. You can't make out what that is. But with the FLIR, you instantly see that there's a hot spot and that there's something more than just a piece of metal or cardboard sitting back there. One of the nice features about FLIR is that if you are, for example, walking through a warehouse such as this, you can see that there's a unit heater on the ceiling, just like you would with the regular IR. But the FLIR, in addition to showing you the heater, will tell you if that heater has been used recently or is active and hot. As Chris cycles through some of the different color settings, such as the high white, the high black, the greens and reds, you can see how it really brings out the temperature difference. Different color settings seem to work better with different levels of contrast and heat. If everything is the same temperature, some of the color settings work better than if there's a lot of different temperatures around something. As we were saying earlier, another good thing to use this for is to see if there's been some activity in a vehicle. You can see on this truck here, everything looks fairly cold. And when you look at the truck that we're just driving, you can see the headlights are hot. You can see the tires are white and hot, and you can see that the brakes are showing hot. And you can also see heat coming from under the fender there, telling you that the engine's hot. It's been driving. Something when you look at the cars driving by, one thing you notice is the tires are all white and hot, even though it's only about 40 degrees out here right now. You see that van has just been sitting there. It's not extremely dark out here yet, but it looks pretty much the same whether it's daytime or nighttime when you look through this thing. Another nice thing about FLIR is that it'll allow you to see if somebody's been somewhere. Chris has got his hand on this version of the board of truth that we're using here, and he's going to pull his hand away from there, and you'll be able to see the heat from his hand. Now, we did it a couple minutes ago, and after probably about 2 minutes, his previous handprint above there is still there as well. So if you're looking for somebody, you should be able to find them and trace wherever they may have been touching, or if you're hunting down an animal, if there's a blood trail, that blood trail is going to hold some heat as well. For our next quick test, we're going to see how IR and FLIR do through automotive glass. Right now, Chris is sitting in the Suburban, and he's got his head next to the driver's window, and we could see a little bit there. But when you go to the FLIR, you cannot see anything through there. And now when Chris moves his head to the front windshield, we still don't see anything through the FLIR, but we can see him through the IR. So it looks like window tint is an effective method of blocking some IR light, just like it is with normal daylight. Okay, for our next glass test, we thought we'd see how IR works versus FLIR through a plate glass window. With the IR, we can see straight through it, we can see the cars going by, and we can see everything as we normally would, whether the glass was there or not. But one strange thing we didn't expect was, with the FLIR, we're seeing a reflection of our heat in the glass. We do not see any cars going by, we do not see the trees outside, but we see ourselves in the reflection of the glass. So our heat is radiating off the glass and being picked up by the FLIR. Now, if we weren't aware of that, that's something we could think maybe somebody was on the other side of that glass and go shooting through it or something. Very surprising. Okay, based on that last test, we thought we'd try this again. Right now, Chris is standing outside a receptionist window here, and if you look into the FLIR, you see me filming. Now, if Chris is going to open that window, and he will appear, that is a very, very surprising result.